Disclosure is so much more about UFOs. You could have zero interest in UFOs and still be staunchly in support of UFO transparency on account that, at least from my perspective, it seems pretty obvious that a policy of secrecy surrounding this enigma is tyrannical and not democratic. And when disclosure finally dawns, I'm recognizing that I'm going to have to face a darkness of the human spirit that perhaps has never been faced in the history of the world in this way, in this fashion. I mean, you know, we have the Iraq War, which was predicated on fraudulent charges, a massive war where untold amounts of human beings perished, a completely unnecessary war. We have the Church Committee from the 70s, where the intelligence community was partaking in some seriously evil, unethical behaviors. So I'm not saying governments and humanity hasn't partaken in terrible things, but the alleged UFO cover-up stands on its own because, for one thing, it allegedly transpires over such a long period of time. According to UFO whistleblower David Grusch, we're talking about close to 90 years. And it's so absurd. And we'll have to grapple with the question of how many people in the US government knew about this and chose not to betray the policies in place. I'm not necessarily advocating that, but why were there not more Lue Elizondos? Why were there not more David Grusches? Now, granted, David Grusch had the benefit of UFO legislation to protect him, but Lue Elizondo didn't. Why did it take until 2017 for a Lue Elizondo to come out in the way that he did? I think it's fair to say that in the history of the world, there has never been anything remotely comparable to a knowledge such as knowing we're not alone in the universe, knowing we're being engaged by non-human intelligence, and having the artifacts of this intelligence and even biological remains of this intelligence, and holding that knowledge back from 8 billion human beings. There is no precedent for this. None. And no matter what national security excuse is used, I don't think you can escape the reflection of how dark this cover-up is. Science is freedom. And what's so utterly disturbing about this alleged cover-up, because you know what, maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'll look like a fool in a year's time. That's fine. I'm open to that. But what's so disturbing about this cover-up, allegedly at least, is that it's not just the United States government. There are so many nations that chose to turn their face from their fellow countrymen, from their fellow human being, and to persist with a policy of obfuscation, lying, misleading, and keeping such profound information about our place in the universe concealed from everybody else. It's horrid. It's horrific. The history books are going to literally have to be rewritten in a post-disclosure world. Every curriculum out there almost will have to be rewritten. Elementary school, high school, middle school, university, PhD programs. In a very real sense, we've been living a lie about the truth of our cosmos. And it's such a deep lie because we have not been confronted with the question of how much has this phenomenon steered our civilization. And so it's a compounded lie, because this lie encompasses so very much. And a big portion of what the lie encompasses is curtailing civilization from asking the myriad questions that they would ask had they been given this information about this non-human intelligence, and trying to get to the bottom of those questions, getting to those answers. In some weird way, you learn, it could be argued, just as much about the universe by the questions you ask in comparison to the answers you already have. Keeping this knowledge from the human species, which is essentially what has transpired, has removed our free will. Not just individually, but I would argue nationally and fully collectively. I have to believe that learning you're not alone changes your psychology and has major implications to how you perceive the world around you. So everything that we have done as a species, individually and collectively, has been modified by this knowledge being kept from us. If just as an example, if we would have had disclosure 30 years ago, our future would be completely different, because that thermonuclear explosion of knowledge about our universe would have inevitably influenced all our behaviors and decisions, or a significant amount. How we perceive war, how we perceive politics, how we perceive religion. It would have impacted all those things. And so, in a real sense, those that had the smoking gun evidence of this phenomena and kept it from us violated our free will, and without a semblance of authorization took control of the destiny of mankind against our will. That's some dark shit. And you're welcome. I hope you have a nice evening.
Special thanks to all patrons, YouTube members, those that have bought merch, those that have given me one-time donation. I couldn't do without you. Thank you so much. See you in the next episode.